But, with the United States Marines pushing into Allied territory, Royal Marines and their allies carried out raids behind enemy lines to stop further counterattacks.
All right, y'all, welcome back to Combat Arms channel. Okay, so today we're checking out a very big recommendation. So, the article was released and a lot of y'all were sending the article to me, but I guess a lot of people were waiting for a video to come out so they can send it to me. Now, I think like within the first hour of this video being up, like 20 people sent it to me. So again, you guys are definitely on top of your game, but this one is an interesting one. Might be a difficult one for me. So this is titled Royal Marines Force U.S. Marines to Surrender and Exercise After Eliminating Almost the Entire Unit. So I think I've been able to ascertain that this is a Green Dagger exercise over in California, but I'm not sure how they actually do it. I would imagine if the U.S. Marines are supporting them, then they're going to be acting as the opposing force. And generally speaking, the opposing force is usually supposed to die. So I don't know. That's kind of where I am right now. I'm playing devil's advocate. So every time the article came to me, I was like not wanting to believe it. But it is definitely possible that the Royal Marines jacked up the U.S. Marines because I've seen some pretty eaten up U.S. Marine units. So yeah, I guess we'll have to check out this video and find out. Also, check out the merch in the description. Good old 29 palms.
Dominated United States forces during a training exercise in California, using a new battle structure. Royal Marines are taking on their comrades from the United States Marine Corps in the wilds of the Californian desert as they prepare for operations as part of a new task group.
Yep. This is cool. So I did check out the Green Dagger video if you guys haven't seen that. So that might give a little bit more context as to what they're doing over in California. But I did this training rotation as well in the Marine Corps. It's something you do before deployment. So it's called ITX or CAX. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's definitely a different vibe if you're not used to being in the desert. But it was definitely a lot of fun. I wish we had some Royal Marines there so we could give each other a chin wag or whatever you guys say.
Operations is part of a new task group. A new High Readiness Force, Literal Response Group South, is to be built around Taunton-based 4O Commando and will focus on the regions east of the Suez Canal, ready to respond to global events.
Nice shots, especially with the chem lights and stuff.
To ensure the commando element of the group are ready for deployment next year, the Marines must first complete exercise Green Dagger in the Mojave Desert alongside the United States and Netherlands Marine Corps.
Oh, the
exercises across sun-scorched deserts will test the Marines in a number of...
You guys already know, I've checked out the Dutch Marines, and I always say it. They seem very, very similar to the U.S. Marines as well. So that's kind of cool that they got to bring all of them together.
Fighting skills and their ability to work effectively with their Dutch counterparts who also form part of the Literal Response Group.
Oh, okay.
The conclusion of the exercises, known as Green Dagger, was 5 days of grueling warfighting which saw Allied forces from the United States, Canada, United Arab Emirates, the Netherlands and United Kingdom, join forces to take on a highly equipped United States Marine Corps adversary.
Oh, okay, so wait, that sounds like there's a lot of, okay, hold on. How many people are going against this one Marine opposing force?
Which saw Allied forces from the United States, Canada, United Arab Emirates, the Netherlands and United Kingdom, join forces to take on a highly equipped United States Marine Corps adversary. Green Dagger will culminate in a free-play battle, in which Dutch and British Marines will work together against the might of the United States Marine Corps to evaluate the effectiveness of each of the Allied forces.
Okay.
The exercises are taking place at the Marine Corps Air-Ground Combat Center at 29 Palms, which covers an area similar in size to Luxembourg in the Californian deserts.
Yeah, it's pretty big. You do all the mechanized stuff there as well. A lot of terrain to cover. And also the gunships will come in too, and that's pretty cool to watch. They have some really good shots.
Royal Marines have put the seal on desert exercises with an intensive 5-day battle in California alongside allies across one of the largest military training areas in the world. Commandos have spent the last 2 months in the Mojave Desert preparing for deployments next year as part of the newly formed Literal Response Group, which is one of 2 new Royal Navy task groups centered on commando forces set up to respond to world events.
Nice, okay.
Under reforms direct.
So the LRG sounds very similar to the Marine Expeditionary Unit that we have in the U.S. Marine Corps. And that's basically, you'll take an infantry battalion, put them on a ship, and then you have this, whole like command support group around the ship. So I think it's called the Amphibious Ready Group. So that's usually a part of the MU. So it sounds very, very similar, if not pretty much identical or mirrored. But again, it is commandos, so the support might be a little bit different. I'm not exactly sure how new of a concept the littoral response group is. So if you guys know, please put it down below. I think that kind of came out with all the new commando reforms, but not entirely sure.
By the First Sea Lord, Admiral Sir Tony Radakan, Royal Marines Commando forces are to become more flexible and mobile fighting troops.
Hell yeah. These guys just chilling here. What's going on?
Experts from across 3 Commando Brigade came together to form the Littoral Response Group, with Taunton-based 4O Commando at its heart at the vast United States Marine Corps training facility at 29 Palms in California.
Hell yeah.
The exercise focused around 3 urban sprawls which were defended by Allied forces, the largest of which consisting of 1,200 buildings purpose-built for militaries to test themselves among.
Insane.
The regiment has formed combat service support troops that deploy at range and are isolated from direct chain of command.
Hey, there's some Ivans. If you guys don't know, if you guys have trained and you've used these targets, we refer to them as Ivans because I guess they came out in the 80s during like the Cold War. And yeah, we were like getting ready for Russia and whatnot. So we call those Ivans. But yeah, 29 Palms is an amazing facility. Some of the best training you will ever get because the facilities are just massive. And again, you just have a lot of terrain. So you can pretty much do whatever you want to, as long as you can get creative and be generally safe about it.
Direct chain of command, working independently to keep supplies of food and ammunition flowing. The troops have been established to allow Commando Logistic Regiment to be in more places at once, while also continuing to make use of the Armored Support Troop, which provides force protection and moves Marines around the battlefield.
Okay, there you go.
Additionally, Commando Logistic Regiment are also continuing to develop their 3D printing capability, which helps provide battle damage repair options on the front line.
What?
The Littoral Response Group won decisive battles early on and gained ground from their enemy, but, with the United States Marines pushing into Allied territory, Royal Marines and their allies carried out raids behind enemy lines to stop further counterattacks.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool. So they're mentioning 3D printing. How is that come into play? They're talking about like using it for like battle damage repairs or something. I mean, maybe for like certain radio components or something. I'm not really sure how that comes into play. So if you guys have more info on that, then put it down below because that sounds pretty cool. Good old tube strokers there.
Our success has proved the new Commando Force concept is more lethal and sophisticated than ever before, and I am immensely proud of every member of the Littoral Response Group and their vital contributions, said Lieutenant Colonel Andy Dow, commanding officer of 4O Commando.
Oh, yeah.
Operating alongside our partners from the United States, Netherlands, Canada and the United Arab Emirates gives us a fantastic opportunity to test, integrate and continue to push our capabilities in new and innovative directions. Throughout this deployment, our focus has been on integrating game-changing capabilities from across the Commando Force to deliver disproportional effect in the face of a free-thinking peer adversary.
So many big words.
The exercise concluded.
We've noticed this before. The Royal Marines have some crazy... I mean, I guess you guys did invent the English language or whatever, but you guys need to chill with the big words.
With a last-minute enemy assault which was repelled, leaving Allied forces in control of over 2/3 of the entire battlefield.
Okay.
The commandos took advantage of one of the best military training areas in the world to experiment with new tactics and share knowledge with allies.
Nice. Get some UAVs and stuff. We've seen that a lot. That's pretty cool. Pretty effective, especially for this sort of terrain. Nice.
Marine Sean McGrath from 4O Commando said, "This is the first time I've been to the States and worked alongside the US and the Dutch. Seeing how they operate and how we can work together has been really rewarding. It's been fantastic to work in one of the best training environments in the world. 29 Palms is absolutely huge and offers pretty much every type of training possible. We can train across terrains, in
Damn,
cities..."
that dude just looks like a freaking Marine officer. What is going on? Is he like upset or something? He looks like a colonel. Yeah, he's got some passion.
"We can
Look at
train
that.
across terrains, in cities and with so much capable kit, I can see why we come here. This deployment has ultimately readied the commando element of Littoral Response Group South for operations next year, joining its sister task group, Littoral Response Group North, ready to react to unfolding events around the world."
Hell yeah. I love this working relationship though. It's so awesome. These Marines seem pretty
While
solid
on the
too.
periphery it would seem largely like the much more cumbersome and bulkier logistic task group of old, it is a much smaller, more agile and potent force and is designed to deliver a more tactically astute support, said Major Matt Williams, in command of the Landing Force Support Squadron and Logistic Task Group, of the Commando Logistic Regiment offering on Green Dagger. We have come a long way since starting this journey in earnest last year. We've seen the regiment deploy both combat service support troops and armored support troop on 2 separate occasions, while also preparing for the forthcoming winter deployment in Norway and generating the first troop aligned to the Littoral Response Group South early next year. The Littoral Response Group North has already deployed to the Baltic this year and has a focus on events across Europe, while Littoral...
That's kind of funny though. They're deploying to like Norway and the Baltics, but they're training in like 29 Palms, California, where it's literally like nothing can live there. It's all dead. There's like no moisture whatsoever.
Response Group South will operate east of the Suez Canal. The Littoral Response Group South is expected to be functional next year with the addition of amphibious ships and aircraft.
Nice. Okay, that seemed like that got formed pretty quickly. Hell yeah. Good old CQB. Those Mout Towns are insane. They're huge. That didn't look like he was smiling. It is fun, I will say that. Oh my gosh, dude. One wrong step and that dude's ankle is going to get obliterated. That was the most annoying thing. If you guys have been to 29 Palms, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the massive rocks, man, like you try and like run and everything is just shifting, and yeah, I've seen a lot of people get jacked up. I'm surprised these guys don't have knee pads. We didn't normally use our knee pads, but when we were going to 29 Palms, we're like, yeah, just bring your knee pads because you might want to use them. I think a lot of people just ended up not using them either, but yeah, you take a knee or you fall the wrong way on these rocks and that's game over. That sucks. That looks very heavy. Oh, they're gonna pull that dude on that skinny. Okay, I thought they're gonna pull him on that litter over those rocks. I gotta say, pretty good footage. We're seeing a lot of like cool stuff on the like newer stuff on the U.S. Marine side, especially like these are pretty cool. And then we're also getting to see a lot from the Royal Marine Commandos perspective as far as what they're actually training and whatnot. Okay, so again, I'm not that kind of American to say like it's totally impossible for any other military to destroy like a U.S. unit or what have you. But I gotta say, the Royal Marine Commandos have my utmost respect. I love working with them. It's totally feasible in my imagination for them to actually, you know, kick a U.S. Marine unit's ass with something. But yeah, I gotta say, it was a little bit vague. I'd like to learn a little bit more about what they actually mean as far as making the U.S. Marines surrender. But I know the Royal Marines YouTube channel released a video as well, so I can try and check that out maybe if there's like, you know, some new information. But yeah, this was pretty cool. Again, I do appreciate you guys recommending it. It's always good to sort of like, I don't know, it's nice to have that competition. Of course, the Royal Marines and the U.S. Marines are going to be brothers. They're some of the tightest bonds I've seen with any like military to military units and cooperation. So it's really, really awesome to work with the Royal Marines. So regardless of what happened, I'm sure these guys had a lot of fun, especially at the end, because usually at the end of these training rotations, you get all the kegs out and everybody starts drinking and getting jacked up, and yeah, it just gets very sloppy very quickly. But yeah, it's pretty fun. And also in the spare time, you get to do a lot of sports and whatnot. So I don't know what they would have been doing as far as the Brits and the Americans, maybe like soccer or something, or football, whatever you guys want to call it. But yeah, it's always a good time working with y'all. So very, very cool stuff. But yeah, as far as like getting the details of these Royal Marines making these U.S. Marines surrender and whatnot, not really too sure. But yeah, very cool video. Cool to see a little bit more of the footage and whatnot as far as like the modern training going on over there. And also getting a little bit more background as far as the Green Dagger and also 40 Commandos, you know, role in the new littoral response group and whatnot, because we've heard about that a little bit. So it's kind of cool to get some more info to expand on it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you have any other recommendations, throw it down below. If you have any more videos that provide a little more context to this specific situation, you can throw that down below as well. But again, I'm not going to get defensive for the U.S. Marines. I've seen some pretty crappy U.S. Marine units, and I've seen some very, very stellar Royal Marine units. So it's totally within the realm of possibilities. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. That is it for this video. I'll see you on the next one.